Osabukele iKids News siphinde sikwamukele. Engabe iyiphi incwadi oyifundayo kule insuku emnandi noma nje egqugquzelayo empilweni? Phela izincwadi sinomthelela omuhle ekhuleni ngendlela efanele empilweni yengane. Ziningi ke izincwadi esingazifunda ukuze umuntu akhule ngendlela efanele noma engamkhipha ezingozini esihlangabezana nazo. Namhlanje lapha ezindlini zethu zokusakaza sivakashelwe usonhlala kahle usisi uJoey Dlamini obhale incwadi yokukhula kwentsha ebizwa ngokuthi The Teen Top 25. Sis Joey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
We are glad to have you. Can you tell us what is your book all about?
My book, it shares 25 lessons that every young person and teenager should know before they become adults. The reason why I wrote the book is because I realized as a society, we were very negative when it comes to young people. The message is, you know, the lost nations, the lost people. So I wanted to remind young people that there is good within them and to also equip parents and them on this new journey, because being a teenager, it can be challenging.
My next question was actually to ask you who's the target audience. But then now talking about 25 lessons, would you say which one maybe your readers relate to mostly? Or when you were actually planning these lessons, were you planning them chronologically or what? How did you decide which one comes on top?
Okay, so one of the lessons, it comes the issue about puberty, because especially for Black parents, most of us, we were not used to talking about sex, about talking about dating to our kids. So it becomes an awkward conversation. So I talk about that. What does puberty mean for a young person? And for the parents, what kind of questions should they be talking about? The main topic that I started with is that you need to know yourself, your identity, some of the things that we were never taught as for our generation.
Of which is very important. So talk to me about the reception of this book, how your readers have received it, and also should we expect something more coming from you?
The reception has been beyond what I expected, especially from young people. I remember most of them, they will talk about how they feel like they are actually sitting with me in their room when they are reading the book. And that is what I wanted. For every young person, when they read this book, they should feel that they are being seen and someone understands what they are going through. Yes, there is definitely something coming up that will be focusing on parents. The reason why is that most of the time as society, we prepare for our careers, we prepare for our business, we prepare for even marriage. But most of us, we never go for counseling before we have kids. We never feel like, do I qualify to be a parent? So that will be the question.
We also understand that now and again you hold seminars where you talk to parents and kids. Tell us more about these seminars.
So the seminars, the aim is to reconnect the relationship between parents and young people. Most of the time there is a disconnection because kids feel that like their parents are not listening to them. Then parents are complaining that today's kids are not listening to them or they are disrespectful. So in those seminars, there is a question I always ask them to say, all of us, we have hurt each other. Whether you are a parent or a child, there are things that we have said to each other. So then you are supposed to confess and ask for forgiveness from each other to restore the relationship. Because at the end of the day, we need each other.
And forgiveness, it is really important. Recently, we've seen on news kids trending because they've taken substance abuse, of which they were not supposed to. What would you say, in order, just to advise kids?
It's one of the topics that I speak about, the issue of peer pressure, the issue of waiting. The thing is that we are living in a generation that makes it seem like delayed gratification is a problem. But the truth is that there is nothing you are really missing out. There is nothing wrong with staying at home. There's nothing wrong with you choosing not to drink or choosing not to smoke or choosing not to date because you understand that emotionally, physically, psychologically, you are not ready for that. So my encouragement to kids is to say, wait. Take your time, don't be in a hurry. The world, you know what, adulthood is beautiful, but it's also complicated. Take your time, enjoy being a child.
Your book, it is really beautiful, and I hope, how many languages does it come out in?
Currently, it's only coming out in English, but
yes.
yeah, that is something that we are still working on because I'm a self-published author. So, you know, it takes time for the resources and everything to be able to publish it for everyone. But there is a deal I'm currently working it with the Department of Education for the book to be there in their libraries, which will be great because kids can just get it from there.
So, Sis Joey, let's go back here. So, kids usually these days, they're not really careful about what they post online, of which that can have like a bad impact in future when they're looking for a job. So, what would you say like to them in terms of like maybe advice?
Yeah, that is so true. I think for me, as parents, we also need to monitor what is our kids up to, and to also check, are they really ready to have a cell phone, or are they really ready to have a social media account? So it is all about having an honest conversation with your kids and showing them the dangers. There are pros and cons when it comes to technology, but the reality is that sometimes the world is not forgiving, so they won't forgive some of the mistakes that you have made. So have an honest conversation with your kids, and don't be that parent who's saying, I'm banning you, you are not going to do this. Explain the reason why you don't want them to do it.
Thank you so much for visiting us today in the show. Would have loved to speak to you more. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Lo ke bekusisi uJoey Dlamini sixoxisana naye ngencwadi yakhe yezingane iTop 10 25. Manje mbukeli ake sizwe ukuthi ababukeli bethu bona asebeke bayifunda lencwadi ibasize kanjani. Khumbula ke ukuthi nawe ungasithumela isakho isiqeshana sevideo kule nombolo yeWhatsApp ezovela kumabona kude wakho maduze nje.
I have found one of my favorite lessons to have been in the 7th chapter, which is Are We Friends or Frenemies? That chapter challenged me. This book also has activities where you interact. It makes it a little bit more personal. It makes it a little bit more relatable.
The book is very informative about how teenagers view themselves in our society and to what extent they would like to be seen cool before their friends, family, or the society as a whole.
As a young person, this is a very critical season of my life. More than anything, I'm in a season of learning more about myself, engaging more with content that has positive impact on me as I develop my potential. And this book has allowed me to better understand this season of my life.
Umkodla wethu awukapheli mbukeli, ake siphinde futhi sihlabe ikhefu la ohlelweni siyazibheketha uma sibuya ungaphuthelwa.